Vyas and I'm 13 years old. I've been playing chess since 2013 and I'm a professional chess player. In 2016, I got the opportunity to represent our country, India, in the West Asian Youth Chess Championship, and I have secured the bronze medal, in which the World Chess Federation has given me the title of Women Candidate Master, WCM, and I'm the first WCM of Gujarat. Chess basically originated in India. It's more than a 5,000-year-old game, which has more than numerous amount of benefits, especially in studies. Like for students, they get concentration abilities and they have memory. It enhances the memory power. Not only in studies, but along with that, in everyday practical life, it gives you the opportunity to understand decision making, and it makes us understand that all of our actions have consequences, and so we'll be able to see the future and we can understand about what the consequences can be. So if everyone is ready, we can start now. Is everyone with me? One more thing, that today we're going to start from the basics of chess, because we don't know how long this lockdown is going to be. But I will try to, every Thursday, I will try to give another addition to the last session. So today I'll start from the basics so that we can understand the principle and the rules of chess and how to play chess and how we can be able to understand the game. And I'll try to my best capabilities to share my knowledge, and so that everyone can finish the session by learning something new. So the first question that was asked on the quiz was how many squares are there on the chessboard. There are number of 64 squares in the chessboard. 32 squares are for the white and 32 squares are for black. One more thing that we should make sure when we play the game of chess is that on the right hand side, the corner should be white in color, because otherwise you would be starting the game wrong. So over here, the square on the right hand side corner is white. One more thing is that the chess game, the boards are divided in two sides. One is the king side and one is the queen side. This is because how the pieces are arranged later on in the game. The king happens to be on this side, which is the player's right hand side, and queen side, which is the player's left hand side. There's also a white side and the black side, because the chessboard has horizontal lines which are known as files, and vertical lines which are known as ranks. So after this, when we do this, we are supposed to occupy the center in the game of chess so that we can get control over the board, and so that we can be able to occupy more of these files and these ranks. And the files are lettered with the alphabet, so it starts from A to H, but the ranks are numerical, so 1 to 8. So the board is 8 by 8, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H are 8 on one side. That are the files. So this will be the A file, this will be the B file, C file, D file, and so on. And for the ranks, it will be 1 to 8. Now we have to be careful that the white hand side is from the 1, so that so white always starts the game, and also that the number 1 and A, dark squared A, should be on the left hand side of of the white player. So white is on the 1s and the 8 is the black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are all the ranks, and these are all the files. So now we will learn how we put the pieces in its space. Is everyone with me? If you have any questions or any doubts, I might not be able to answer it right now, but towards the last 5 to 10 minutes of the 1 hour, I will look through all the doubts and I'll try clearing up as much as I know and how much to like the best possible ability that I have. So if everyone is with us, one more thing is that if you want to be able to properly like understand what I am talking about, it would be better if you keep a chessboard with you, and so you would also understand what I am talking about, and it would give you like a proper perspective of what I am speaking. Okay, so basically in the chessboard, every side has 16 pieces, and the main objective of the game, you will be declared a winner once you checkmate the opponent's king. This might sound easy to say, but once we start progressing with the game and our level increases, the difficulty of checkmating the opponent's king becomes harder, because we are now because even our opponent's standards increase, and so it becomes a tactical and a more strategical game. So we're going to start. I'll make you understand the different pieces. So we will first start with the bishop. The bishops are also known as camels in some words, but the Chess Federation and the official name for these pieces is the bishops. So for black, the bishops are, there are again two bishops. One is the white squared bishop and one is the dark squared bishop. So these bishops are placed on the diagonals, and they can only move in a diagonal way. They can't move straight, or they can't capture anything from from besides them. It has to be in a diagonal way. And there are two bishops. So for black, it is placed on the c8 square. As I told before, the rank, so it's the 8th rank and the c5. So it would be c8. So one bishop is placed on the c8 and the other bishop is placed on f8, because it's the f5 and again the 8th rank. So it's the f8. So the bishop can only move in a diagonal way. And for example, if a white piece is here, the bishop can capture it, but it stops once it takes the particular piece. It can't keep going forward. So suppose my bishop is here and an opponent's pawn is here, the white piece. Then if I capture this, I cannot keep moving forward. This is where my bishop is placed. And so it would mean that the bishop has moved from f8, so f8, to the c5 square, which is this again the c5 and the 5th rank, so c5. That is also how we say the moves in chess annotation, so that we can re-see our games and evaluate our mistakes, so that the next time we don't repeat our mistakes, and we also end up learning from our losses, so that next time we can play a better match. That is for the bishops. Exactly for black, it's the same thing for white, but in a parallel way. So for white, it again has two bishops. One moves on the dark squares and one moves on the light squares, and they are again placed on f1. So it would be the f5 and the 1st rank. Again, the other bishop is on c1, so it's the c5 and again the 1st rank. So c1, it doesn't have an exception on the movement for any of the sides. Both of them move diagonally, just how the other one moves. Now in chess, it is preferred that these bishops are used on open files, because they have a very long range, right? So if my bishop is placed here or this bishop is placed here, they would have the range of the whole board, and so it restricts your opponent's pieces from moving, because if they do move to an unprotected square, it would cause them to lose their piece. Again, in chess, every piece has its own value, which dictates on how you will be able to checkmate the opponent's king. For that reason, the bishop's value is 3 points. After the bishop, did everyone understand that? Is everyone with me with the bishop? Okay. So we will continue to the next piece, which is the rooks. The rooks are also referred to as the elephants in some places, but the official name for these pieces is the rooks. Now, These rooks are like the forts of the game. They're always there to attack or protect the other pieces or attack the opponent's pieces because they have a higher value than the bishops. They are also called the heavy pieces or the major pieces, while the bishop is a minor piece. Okay, so the rook is a heavy and major piece, and it can only move straight, so it can't move anywhere else. So if this is my rook, it can only go in one place or this way. It can't go or it can't jump over any piece. So if this is my rook, I can't jump it over any piece of mine or my opponent's. It has to stay in that one point without moving around, and it always stays in that one particular straight line. These rooks are mostly preferred to be on open files. This is because they have a very long range, again like the bishop, so that they would be able to cover up more space. They're also preferred on the opponent's second file. So if I am black, then this will be my opponent's second file. So this will help because it's restricting the opponent's pieces from moving and attacking my own king. One more thing that we should be careful for while playing the game of chess is to make sure that our king is protected. Now, speaking about the king, we will come to that. One more thing is the rooks are placed on the A8 and the H8, but unlike the bishops, they can change which color of square they are in. It's just that again, they can't jump over any piece, or they have to, once if I'm capturing this piece, I stop there. I can't keep going on after I capture a piece. So that is about the rooks. For black, they are placed on A8, so that is the 8th file and 8th rank. And for the other rook is placed on the H file and the 8th rank, so it will be H8. Supposedly for white, it's again the same, it's just in a parallel side. So the rooks, one rook is placed on H1, which is again the H file and the first rank, and the other rook is placed on A1, which is the A file and the first rank. Okay, now we will go to the most powerful piece on the whole board, and that is the queen. The queen is the most powerful piece and has a value of 9 points. This is because it's a combined movement of both the bishop and the rook. Everyone understood the concept of rook, right? Okay, so the queen is able to cover up almost every square on the board. It can do anything that it wants. So if the queen is placed on D8, that is the D file and the 8th rank, and as you can see, it's not in the corners like the bishop and the rook. It's towards the center. This is because once the queen does enter the center, it controls almost every corner of the board, which makes it very hard for your opponent to move. So the queen can go anywhere, right? Like in a straight or in a diagonal. So at this point, the queen can cover almost every place in this whole board. But it is preferred that you keep the queen one move away from the center. This is because once it's in the center, it is exposed to a lot of danger, that even your opponent can come and attack your queen, which can make it really risky because again, the queen is the most important piece on the chessboard. So it's always advised to keep the queen one move away from the center, so that, and keep the queen open at all times, because the queen is also the best for defense for the king. So if your opponent comes and attacks your king, then your queen is the best way to protect your king. But the queen is also the best way to attack the opponent's king. So if the opponent's king is vulnerable, then it's very easy if your queen is able to move properly all around the board. Now that is about the queen. Everyone understood the topic of queen, right? Okay, so again for white, it's parallel. So the queen will be on D1, that is the D file, first rank. So both of them 9 points. They move straight and diagonal, right? No exceptions. Now there is just one very tricky piece that is not hard to understand, but it moves differently from others. It gives us an advantage to go and attack the opponent, and those are the knights, also called as the horses, but the technical name for these pieces is the knights. So they are placed right in between of the bishop and the rook. So for one knight it would be on the b8 square, so the b file and the 8th rank, and the other knight would be on the g file and the 8th rank, so it would be g8. But these are the only pieces actually in the chess game that can jump on top of another piece. So for example, if my pawn would be here, also known as a soldier, if it was here, the knight would be able to jump upon it and move in an L shape. So it takes 1, 2 and then to the right. So it goes 1, 2 and to the right. So the knight can jump upon another piece, also of yours and the opponent's. But this also limits its range, because then it only has 1, 2 and 3 places to move. But that is only in the beginning. That's why it is advised that the knight is kept in the center. Why would this be? Because here it can move to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 places. That would mean that it's stopping the opponent from moving to like 8 squares, and those are all very important squares because again they are in the center of the board. So it would prove that your opponent can't move much, and thus it stops the mobility. Like the bishop, the knight also has only 3 points, but they both have very different roles. For example, the knight is best in a close situation. So when there is very less to play and where you can't move around much, the knight is preferred. But when it's very open and both the kings can be exposed and you can go for checkmates, the bishop is preferred. So that is the knight. Again, for white, it's on the opposite side with the same movement and both have 3 points. So one knight would be on b1, that is b file and first rank, and the other knight would be on g1, that is g file, again first rank. So these are all the minor and major pieces. Now comes the main. The reason why we are playing this game is the king. But unlike the queen, the king doesn't have very much squares to move. It can only move 1 square away from its actual position. So if the king is here, the only places that can move are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 squares. There's 1. And it can't move around much. And the kings, basically we have to work towards protecting our own king and attacking the opponent's king. Is that a question?
No. Fine.
Fine? Okay. So that is the main point of the king. So the king is placed right next to the queen, again in the center. Why is it placed in the center if it's so important? Because the king, if the king wouldn't be placed in the center, how would it be a challenge to play the game? We are playing this game to enhance our mental strength, but that doesn't mean that we don't involve any physical activities. Because if we don't have the stamina of playing the chess match, because most chess matches in classical tournaments last for at least 4 to 5 hours. And if you don't have the stamina and if you aren't well trained, then you won't be able to sit there with a calm mind and peaceful thinking for 4 to 5 hours in just one place. Because many times you can't even move around if your opponent is a really good player, or if the situation is hard to understand, or if you have to think. So you have to be able to have stamina and continue the match. So if everyone has understood the concept of the kings, right? Okay, again, this king is placed on e8, which is e file 8th rank, and opposite to it is the white king, which is e file 1st rank. One more thing that we have to remember while arranging the pieces is that this is the king side, which is the player's right hand side, is the king side, and the other one is the queen side, which is the player's left hand side. This is because I told you The king side is named after the kings being in that place, and the queen side is named after the queens being in that place. So this is how the board is split into these two. This usually comes into play when we are going to attack our opponent. We see the place or the side that we have more pieces in, and so in which the opponent is more weak. So it would give us a proper view of on which side we should attack. Now this seems very exposed, doesn't it? You can clearly go and attack or come here, and it's not really protected. And because of this, we have something called the pawns, which are also referred to as the soldiers. Now these pawns are going to cover up your whole army. These pawns are going to cover up your whole army, protecting it from your opponent's army, but at the same time, the pawns also help you attack in some situations. Now these pawns have a very special ability. Once they reach this pawn, if it reaches the opponent's the last rank, then it can be promoted into anything you want, except a king, obviously. But if you already have a queen, then you can make another queen, which makes it two queens, which can become a very powerful match for you, and it's straight away gives you a very, very big advantage. So the pawns have this very special ability. But at the same time, the pawns are restricted to only one move, except for the first time that they move. They can move 2 squares in front. And that is the only time that they can move 2 squares. Now for the rest of the match, the pawn can only move 1 square. 1 square, 1 square. It's no more allowed to play 2 squares. One more thing is that if the opponent's pawn is kept here, I cannot capture it like this. The pawn can only capture diagonally. This proves as both an advantage, also as a disadvantage, because at this point, if it is very important for me to advance, then this stops me, because my pawn cannot capture in a straight line. But if it's good for me to move my pawn away from that file, so I could capture it diagonally, which also gives me an advantage. So this can both be played to your advantage and your disadvantage. That is why it is said to cover up more space, it's preferred to have E or D openings, because once you play this, it gives you a complete control of the center. This is very important because, again, as I said, it's stopping the mobility of your opponent, which makes it very hard for the opponent to attack your king as well as protect their own king, which makes it very vulnerable and easy for you to attack, bring all your pieces into the center and straight go for the king, which also guarantees most of the time a win in the chess match. So again, all the pawns are kept in the line in front of all the pieces, and therefore protecting the pieces from each other. So now we have to start a proper chess match, right? It makes it, these pawns also are like a rock solid frontier. They're like the soldiers in the actual, in the fort or something. We're trying to protect the king. So before any piece can come and attack my king, they have to go and face the actual soldiers, right? They can't just enter my kingdom like that. That is also how we can visualize the game of chess. It's trying to capture another's kingdom, trying to win the match. It's an actual battle. Did you know that before the actual board and the system was initiated, the game of chess was played in actual real life, with actual soldiers coming in, and elephants with their knights, with their actual knights with horses and camels, and everything was like in real life, with two kings battling and commanding their soldiers to win the match for them, which would also grant an actual kingdom. So that's why a less violent and a more peaceful game of chess was made, to make it more mental, and so we can also improve ourselves. And especially during this lockdown, the game of chess, all you need is a board and 32 pieces, not much, and you can spend time with all of your family members, or like your brother, your siblings, or your parents, because this is the best way to take part in this lockdown, which also gives us a productive result, because now even school has started. So this would help us in concentrating and maybe even enhance our own memory power. And we never know, we might all be the next reigning chess champions. So if all the pieces and movement and all is clear, then we can continue to the next topic. does anyone have any doubts regarding what I have discussed until now? Very moty comment message.
Okay, let me go through that. You can ask some quiz and you can ask them by putting pieces क्या भी तो चालीस शके के नहीं.
Okay, fine. So I'll ask you quiz first. So the question?
Yeah, there is a question for the piece value and more detail they need about the queen, how she can move.
Okay.
So piece
So
value.
to the queen.
Each piece value and the queen.
Okay. So first I'll explain each piece's value, and then I'll come to the queen last. The rook is also called a major piece or a heavy piece, and it has the value of 5 points. The knight is a minor piece, and it has the value of 3 points. Again, the knight moves in an L shape, so it can jump over pieces. So it goes 1, 2, and then turn.
Yeah.
Can everyone see
Yeah,
that?
they have a question like can go left, can go right.
It can go in any direction. So it can go 1, 2, I can go this way, I can go this way. It just has to take a turn on the second square, right or left, it doesn't matter. Now one more thing is that the knight can also go this way. So I could go 1 and then 1, 2. So what happens is that we're actually taking the jump first and then the 1, 2. It can be put into any order, it's just that the knight has to move in that one particular L shape. Is the knight's movement clear? Because it needs to wait a minute.
Yes, I have a doubt.
Yeah?
She has a doubt. Wait. Okay. You can take knight to the center and then more explain about the knight.
Okay, so if the knight is suppose here, right? We can move 1, 2, turn. 1, 2, turn. Now at the same time it can also go from here. So it goes 1, 2, turn. 1, 2, turn. Like that it can go in any direction. And after the 1, 2 you can take either the left hand square or the right hand square. For that you have to
Again, horse please.
Okay, knight. Okay, so the knight or the horse, it can jump over any piece. So suppose my own pawn is here. So can I move here? No, we can't move straight, but the knight moves in an L shape. My phone arm length is इसलिए मैं भी देखा ही होता है सर खेलते हैं. काटी नहीं काटी ना.
Yeah.
And नीचे को थोड़ा.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to दिखा दो.
No, they can.
नहीं.
They can.
So the knight moves in an L. So it goes 1, 2, and then over here. It can also go the other way here. So 1, 2, here. 1, 2, here. 1, 2, here. So it can basically take 2 steps and then right hand side or left hand side square for any direction that it wants. So is that again it can take turn after one move. Right? No, it can only take a turn after 2 squares, after jumping 2 squares. So it goes 1 and the 2 and then 1 to the right hand side or the left hand side. But we can't do 1 and a jump. It has to take 1, 2 and then to the other side. 1, 2 and then to the other side. This is also the only this is also the only piece that can continuously change its color. So if it's here, it's on the dark on the black square, and if it comes here, it becomes in the white square. So this is the only okay, fine. So now moving to the next piece, that is the queen. So if suppose the queen is kept in the center of the board, which is again the most powerful place for the queen to be kept. Which is the most powerful place for the queen to be kept. It can move around in almost every direction because it's again the strongest piece on the board. So it can go straight, right? It can go basically it can go vertically, horizontally, and even diagonally. So once it's in the center, it can cover up almost every square of the board except the right hand squares of another diagonal, but that is very few in number compared to the actual 64 squares. So the queen, once in the center, it can almost stop your opponent from playing a good move because they don't have good choices to play anymore. But again, once the queen is in the center, it is very vulnerable because a lot of pieces can come and attack it at once, which may get your queen trapped, which is a very big risk to play. So it's mostly advised that you play the queen one move away from the center. So in case you feel that okay, now is the time to go and attack, you can bring your queen into the center and completely crush your opponent. But leaving your queen in the center for more than, let's say, 5 moves will make it very bad for your as a position, because at that point when you have brought the queen to the center, it's already like a middle game, like it has progressed by 9 or 10 moves. So that is why the queen is again very important. I'll just see the movement once again. So it moves like a rook and bishop combined. So the rook, it moves straight, right? And the bishop moves diagonally. Now this queen can move both ways. So it can move straight at the same time diagonal. So I'll say the piece values again. So the rook 5, it's a major piece and a heavy piece. The knight, minor piece and 3 points. The bishop, minor piece and 3 points. The queen, heavy piece or major piece for 9 points. The king does not have a definite value because the king cannot be captured. It is checkmate. Now I'll make you understand what checkmate is. So checkmate is a position where the player who has given the checkmate has won the game. Now how can you do a checkmate? A checkmate is performed when you give the opponent a check. Now what's the check? Suppose this is my queen and I place it here. Now I am giving the king a check. How am I doing that? I am giving the queen a square so that where the king is the next square that I can capture it into. So it's giving the king, it's isolating the king and it's making it vulnerable. Now as I said, you can't leave the king hanging over there. You can't leave it be like that where I can capture it, because capturing it would be an illegal move, but leaving the king there like that would also be illegal. So what are the best ways to defend against a check? Now there are 3 main ways that you can defend yourself from a check. Now the first one is protecting the king, placing a piece in between these 2 pieces, right? So if over here my queen is giving the check, then I can also place my own queen to stop the check. One more thing that we can do is to capture the piece that's giving the check. Now in this position it's not possible, but if suppose this knight had traveled here, it would be possible. And now once you've captured the piece that's giving a check, it's no more a check, and so you have protected your king. But one more way that you can stop yourself from a check is just by moving the king away. But when you do move your king away, you should be very careful of where you move it, because once there is a check, there might also be chances that the opponent has more pieces, which might lead to a checkmate. A checkmate is when you're giving your opponent a check and the king cannot move to any other place, stop the check or capture the piece that's giving the check, because it's now the king cannot move anymore, because if he goes to any other place it would still be a check. For example, the black king is here and the white king is here. Now 1 minute. Now if I place my queen over here, then this would be a checkmate. How is this a checkmate? First of all, it cannot capture the piece. Why? Because it's protected. So this would be an illegal move. The king cannot move anywhere because again all the squares are blocked by either the king or the queen. So this is declared as a checkmate, and there is also no way that black can stop white. There is no square for him to put another piece or any other piece to stop this check, and so this is declared as a checkmate, and white has won this match. One more of these situations could be the king is here, okay, the white king is here, and the queen is here. Now can you guess how we can give a checkmate in this position? If anyone has any guesses? Again, does anyone have a doubt with the check and checkmate concept?
No, they are watching, so you can ask quiz, you can share puzzle later on, and you can repeat.
Okay, fine. So, can I just ask if everyone is understanding what I'm talking about? Sukhdeena?
Last line.
About the check and checkmate. Okay, so basically I'll put the same position again. Sukhdeena, you said that?
Opponent of opponent. Last line of opponent. By moving queen to h8.
Acha, yeah, right. Okay, this is actually the correct move of playing the queen to h8. This is known as the h8 square because it's the h file and the 8th rank.
યશે કીધું અને જિજ્ઞાસાએ કીધું કેતાબેને કીધું.
Okay. At the same time, there is also one more way that white can do a checkmate. Can you guess it? There are two ways actually. Mama, niche nahi hai, scroll kar.
ના હજુ કોઈ d6. ધ્રુતિ મોનાની સે d6.
Actually, d6 would not be the correct answer. The calculation is right that when you play the queen here, it would be a checkmate. But now what happens is that it's a new term called stalemate. What is a stalemate? Stalemate is no matter how nicely you're winning the game, right? You could be having all the pieces on the board while the opponent only has a king, but now the king has nowhere to place because if he goes anywhere else, it would be an illegal move. So playing it here would be illegal because the queen is checking. Playing it here, king and queen both are giving a check. Playing it here would again be illegal because both the king and queen. Playing it here would be illegal. Playing it here would be illegal. So now this is a stalemate and you have actually drawn a perfectly winning game. And so no, this is unfortunately not the
Julie
correct
Shah has said b8, Vipruta said c8, and Priti Solanki said d8.
Okay, the correct answer is actually b8. So this is also a checkmate. It's the same.
Julie Shah.
Yeah. It's the same as h8 and b8 because now there's no more place for the king to play because here the queen is still giving a check. Actually the concept was right but the squares were wrong, so I'll explain the squares again so that you can understand where the pieces are moving. So this is the 8th rank. This is the 7th. नहीं ऊपर नहीं कर रही हूँ माँ.
देखा
ऊपर
सर?
नहीं.
Is it clear?
Is it clear? Can you see my board properly?
Yeah.
I'll just okay. So yes, okay. So what I was saying is that this is the 8th rank, 7th rank, 6th rank, 5th rank, and so on. 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st rank. Now there are also files. These files are A file, b5, c5, d5. Now, how do we understand which square we are moving on? So first comes the letter and then comes the number. So if we suppose here, so it's A8, B8, because this is on the B5 and the 8th rank. So A8, B8, C8. So here, when the king was here, and here, so this would be B8. Why would this be B8? Because it's on the B5 and the 8th rank. So B8. One more place was H8. Why was this H8? Because it's the 8th file and 8th rank. So I'll give one more position. So the king is here. Yeah. One more thing that you might have noticed, which is very similar in these positions, is that actually most of the time the king that gets checkmated is in the corner, because that's how the game proceeds. We try to put the opposite king in the corner because then it restricts the movement. For example, when the king is here, it has only 1, 2 and 3 squares. So it makes it easier for us to guard 3 squares, other than when the king is here and it has 8 squares to move, and so you would have to work harder and you would have to bring in more pieces to cover all of these 8 squares up. So we try to corner the king making it hard for the king to move around and then having only 3 squares. So this is here, the other king is here, and the white queen is here. Okay, can everyone see the position? So it's white to play and it's a one move mate.
You can ask again.
So it's white to play. The white queen is on A6, which is A file and 6th rank. The white king is on F7, which is 7th rank in F5, and the black king is on H8. So now, can you guess what this answer is?
Dhruti Monani said G6. Let everyone to give answer. Julie Shah said H6. Wait for everyone. G6, H6, H6. Wait for more people to answer. H6. Yashikidu H6. Okay, G6, H7, H6, H6.
It's okay. So this time there were many right answers, and the correct answer is H6. Why is this? Because the king cannot move to any other place. In this case, this would not be a checkmate because the king can escape over here, and so A8 would not be a one move mate, though it would lead to a checkmate because it's almost impossible for black to defend this position unless white makes a mistake or does a wrong move, but that is in a very rare case. So here the correct answer is in fact H6, and so the black king cannot move to any other square.
Why not D6? She said said C6 and C8. Why not D6 and C8?
C8, it would be the same case as A8. Again, the king can escape to H7, so it would not lead to a checkmate.
Why not C8?
C8, may I explain to you?
C8. Okay.
That is why C8 would not be the right answer. C6, you are going to end up to a checkmate. That's what I meant to say. That in this position, there's not exactly a very well-defined wrong move, except if you're making it a draw or you're making it a stalemate, or if you're giving up the queen for no. Because in this case, if the queen is gone, then this would be a draw. because a king can't defeat another king, because if it comes close to each other, it would be giving check to each other, and so it would be a draw. So if this queen would be captured, then it would be a mistake. And if you're playing g6 would be wrong because it's a draw now. The king cannot move anywhere and it's not a check. So this would be draw. And over here, c6 is not like a very wrong move, but the puzzle was to find out the mate in 1, and so this would be the queen to h6 is the correct answer.
So you can put similar type of puzzles maybe after some time.
After some time.
Okay.
So
h7. Why not h7?
The queen cannot move to h7 because first of all it's in the 6th rank, so it can't jump over and transfer ranks like that, and plus the king is stopping her. And even if it was possible somehow for the queen to move to h7, it would again be a mistake because the king can capture it, and this would end up being a draw to a perfectly winning game. So that is why h7 would not be the right answer.
Okay, so you
I'll put up similar puzzles on like I'll post them
same here, yeah,
on the same
page.
on the same page, and you can work on them. And in the next session, that would be next Thursday, I'll try my best to be able to give you something new to learn. So I hope that today everyone has learned something new about the game of chess in this session. And if you have any doubts,
Got it. Yeah.
if anyone has any doubts, then they can ask it right now and I'll answer them. Right.
Okay.
Um,
Quiz 3.
Any doubts?
Yes. Got it.
Yes. Sugdu?
It's perfect.
Okay. Thank you for all your kind comments and support, and I would like to thank Viprada aunty for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge. Question?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Waiting for next session. Okay.
Okay. So I'll post.
One second.
Okay.
Dhruti Monani, when there are only 2 kings in chess, does it chess match continue?
No, once there are only 2 kings in chess, the chess match does not continue and it is declared as a draw, either by the players. If it's an informal match, it would be by the players. They would end up stopping the game. But if it's a proper official match, then the arbiter, which is also known as the chess judge, would come and confirm the game as a draw, because there is no other possible way that any of the sides could win the match.
I'm happy that my twin sister learned something fruitful. Okay, thank you. Say Payal auntie, thank you. Nice explanation.
Thank you.
Explanation.
Thank you for all your kind comments. Again.
Quiz done.
Okay, so I have some questions regarding the current chess, and I'll ask them and you can post the answers in the comments. So who is the current overall world chess champion? Who is the woman chess champion? Who is known as the Tiger of Madras? And how many times has he been the world champion? These are 4 questions that I have asked. If any of the participants know the answers right now, you can comment them. If you don't, you can post them onto the same group later, along with the answers to the puzzles that I will be posting in some time, so that you can work on in this 1 week.
You're welcome, dear. Thanks a lot. Yes, I'm happy that Magnus Carlsen.
Okay, so that is right. Magnus Carlsen is the current world champion, and he has been leading for the past 2 world championships, and he had won the title on 4 years back in the World Championships, and he has been undefeated until then. Though last year he was very close to being too close to losing his title against the player Fabiano Caruana, who is currently third in the world. But he ended up winning the last match, which caused all the difference, and Magnus Carlsen continued to be the chess champion. And
Anand
yes,
is,
Vishwanathan Anand is the
Tiger of Madras.
Tiger of Madras. Does anyone know the number of times he has been the world champion?
No, let them to post. And
So
the
you
woman,
can post them
woman.
later. And anyone knows the women chess champion? No? Okay, it's okay. Thank you everyone for your kind comments and for supporting me, especially Viprudanti. And I'll try doing my best again in the next session, next Thursday. Thank you.